Right, so now we've only got one major task left, and that is to allow our users to receive images that have been sent to them. And the way I'm going to do that is to poll every few seconds to see if there are any new images for our current user and display them if they are. So first off, let's just cheat slightly with the image that we do have and change the recipient username to Ralphie so that it will appear on our system. And then we'll write our polling code. So we'll start off by creating a method which will check for images. Which we'll call check for images. And initially we'll just run it once down here, because we don't need it run again and again, but we'll add in the code to do that right at the end. So we're going to need a query. So let's get our code from parse to do that. There we go. So we're going to be querying the image class. And we're going to want all the images that have a recipient username of our current username. So just change that to recipient username, and we want that to be parse user dot get current user dot get username. Okay, simple as that. And then we'll do our usual check. I don't think we want to call it score list, so we'll call them images. So if images.size is greater than 0, then we'll do our good old loop through. And these are, of course, all in the images list. And now we need to think about how we're actually going to display the image. I think the way I'm going to do it is to give the user a message saying that there's an incoming image for them, and then allow them to click OK to view it. Otherwise it will just look a bit odd with this image popping up with no warning. So let's do that using a dialog. We know how to do these now. So we start with an alert dialog builder, which I'll call builder, which is going to be a new alert dialog dot builder within the context of this. No, we don't want to use this because we're inside a callback. So we'll use the application context. And we'll set the title. You have a message. Then we'll create a text view to have a bit more detail in. I'll just call it content, which is going to be a new text view, and again that's our application context. And then we'll set the text of this text view, and we'll start with the username of the person that sent the message, which you'll remember is sender username. So this is image.getString sender username. And then we'll concatenate that with has sent you a message. I'll just put image there to make it clear that that's what they're going to see. And then we'll put that into the builder. And then we'll add in our positive button. We're only going to have a positive button here. They're not going to have a chance not to see it. You can obviously add one in if you like. But I'm going to call it view. And then we have a new on-click listener attached to it. And this is where we're going to display the image. But we've done a lot of code so far. So for now, I'm just going to log that. And that'll give us an opportunity to check that everything is working so far. So hopefully all this code makes sense. We're creating a query to see where the images are equal to the recipient username. So essentially we're looking for images that have been sent to our user, and then we're doing the usual query, and then we're building an alert dialog to contain a message to say that you have this image that's been sent to you. So that should appear automatically for us. But of course it won't, because I haven't actually called that method anywhere. So we need to do that in onCreate. But it won't, because I haven't actually shown the builder. There we go. It's very easily done, that one. I've done that sort of thing many times, where you construct the object, spend all your time thinking about what it looks like, what properties it needs, and then you forget the actual command to display it. And unfortunately we have a little crash there, but don't worry, I've left it in because I think it's instructive. If we go back and look at the error message, it says unable to add window, token null is not for an application. So not necessarily the clearest message, but clearly there's a problem with our alert dialog builder somewhere. So if we just have a quick Google of that error message, we'll probably get something pretty relevant. So yeah, we're using get application context. Aha. So yeah, it's an issue with context. So instead of the application context, we need to be using the class context. So that's simple enough. To get the class, we use user list and then .this. And I suspect we need to use that for the text view application content as well. So that's definitely a good idea. If ever you get a problem like that, or any problem at all really, just have a look at the error message, and if you can't figure out what it is, just Google it, and someone will have been done a very similar thing at some point in the past. Alright, so that's good. You've got a slight issue, as we can see from the layout here. So let's just fix that. We're going to need some layout params on our text view. So all we need to do to center the text is to set the gravity to be gravity.center horizontal. There we go. So let's just check that. We should then have the text in the right place, and we can then add our image. There we go. Much nicer. You might want to play around a little bit with that text. It's a bit high up. You could maybe move it down a touch, but as it is, I'll just leave it there for the moment. So first off, just before we do that, we do want to make sure that we've downloaded the file from Parse. So we'll do that here, and we'll create a Parse file, which I'll call file, and this is going to be image.get Parse file, and the file is called image. Let's just have a look there. There it is. Yep. And then we're going to need to decode that from a byte array. So let's create our array of bytes. In fact, we'll call that byte array. So that's going to be file.getData. And then we can create our bitmap image. Yeah, we'll call it bitmap, which is going to be bitmap factory dot decode byte array, and the byte array is of course byte array. We'll start at the beginning and we'll keep going to the end, which is byte array dot length. And you can see that we've currently got an error around our file.getData command. That's because it might fail, so we need to surround it with try and catch just in case. Now here then, we shouldn't try and convert our image if this fails. So what I'm going to do is change my definition of bitmap to outside our method so we can access it from anywhere. And then I'm going to move the creation of the bitmap image into the try catch. So that means the image will only be created if this file.getData process is successful. Alright, so now hopefully we've got our image contained in bitmap here. So all that remains is to show it to the user. And I'm actually going to do that with another alert dialog builder. So just in the same way here. So I'm going to copy all of that code and then I'm going to paste it into the method that you'll remember is run when they click the view button. So I'll leave the log there for the moment, and then underneath that I'm just going to paste everything, and then we'll update what we need here. So I'll set the title to something like your message. So very simple, and this time instead of having a text view we're going to have an image view because we want to display an image. So this is going to be a new image view like that. We're not going to set the gravity. And we're not going to set the text either. All we're going to do is set the image. So set the image bitmap, and we're going to set that to our bitmap variable. Now we did say that there was a chance that the bitmap variable wouldn't be created. So I'm just going to surround all of this with an if bitmap is not null statement, just to check, because there's no point telling someone that they've got an image message if that image message for whatever reason doesn't work. Now of course that should never be the case, but there is a chance that something will go wrong and this should catch that. Okay, so now we've got our content, we've set the image correctly. This should update the builder view, and then we'll change the button from view to close. And for now, we'll just log image closed. All right then, let's take a look. So this should display our lovely little baby hedgehog as our message. All right, so here's our message. Let's tap view, and there it is, our lovely baby hedgehog. And then we tap close and we can see we've got our image closed there, and we're back to our user list. Wonderful. So I think there is one thing that remains, and that is that when a user has seen the message, we need to delete it so that it's not there again and again. So we've done that before. We should just be able to do it over here where we get our image, and then we take image and delete in background. We don't need a callback or anything for that to happen. We just need it to happen reasonably soon after it's viewed, or after this code is run at least. So here we go again. Here's our message. Let's view it, and there it is. Wonderful. Now let's just go back to parse, and take a quick look, actually you can see it's already updated there. The image has gone, so it's been deleted. Notice that the behavior of this is just how we would want it. It hasn't actually deleted the variable image content from our app, it's only deleted it from Parse. So we can still go through and use it in our code here, but if we tried to download it again, then that obviously wouldn't work. Alright, so that's as far as we're going to go with our Snapchat app. There's obviously a lot that you could do, both in terms of layout and actual design, but we've got the basic features, which is to be able to send messages to other users and then view those messages as they arrive. I hope you've enjoyed making the Snapchat app. I definitely have, and I hope it's inspired you to make some similarly fantastic social apps using Parse.